We have got a couple of, I don't want to say milestones, but there's a couple of updates to the stream, which I'm happy about. I am feeling 50-50 about my choice of game today, but I do have a couple of justifications for it on top of just the fact that I really like it. So I'm going to jump into the Outlast Trials at the start. So I did get a little feedback that some people, again, they're maybe indifferent as to the game, but they do find it kind of unique in terms of me talking through a horror game like this. Now, again, I think between the fact that this is quite a popular game and the game should. Oh, hang on. I'm a little worried that I'm seeing dropped frames here, but let's see. Let's see if that levels out. The game should be loading. Yep, just opened on the other window. So this will take a little bit to get through, but we'll be there. So again, I've been kind of at odds on this one because I quite like it, and I do know that some people do kind of like the more stoic approach to horror. So, it is rather nice to have a combination of a game I like playing and something like basically be able to show something that people otherwise wouldn't necessarily be able to enjoy. But I'm also slightly concerned that the intensity of the content may make the game a little alienating for people. So there's a couple reasons why I chose this week, because I did do this game on Friday, and I'm also really looking forward to doing XCOM 2. The biggest, how do I put this? Like the biggest driver for Outlast Trials tonight is that this is the first stream under my new internet package, and in fact, I'm doing it with my I'm doing this with my VPN on, which is not something that I could do under the old one. Now, I'm a little worried just at some of the stats I'm seeing in OBS, but everything kind of looks like it's in order. So one nice thing here is that if there are problems with the stream, Outlast Trials is the one where I sort of feel like I can survive an interruption. It's designed to be played in like 45 to or 15-minute doses. And so I sort of think that this is something that I don't know, all things being equal, I think we can tolerate. Although, just give me a second here. I'm going to tab out for a second. Let me see. The Twitch inspector should just give me a quick report on... Just because I see like a little blink in the Twitch stuff doesn't mean I should panic. Okay, I'm gonna try and learn Serenity by not obsessing about my stats. So, this strikes me as a good game to basically torture test a stream. Now, again, XCOM's also not bad for sort of having some interruptions because they are sort of, it's a turn-based game. There are these discrete units of battles, but the other big detail here is that there is going to be a new update tomorrow, Tuesday, and so I think it would be kind of nice. Like, I would like to cover the new stuff on Wednesday, particularly because there are drops. So if people want to get some of those drops, it's an opportunity for people to get some cool swag and inside the game just by watching, maybe hopefully by streaming. I don't know. So that's one nice thing. And then of course it's also just, showing off the new update. I haven't had like a new Prime asset or a new update coming in. So because I knew I was more likely than not to stream Outlast Trials on Wednesday, I figured why sort of tease people with a stream for it on on Monday, or sorry, YT's people with XCOM on Monday. I can do sort of Monday, Wednesday, maybe even Friday with Outlast Trials, just because again there's that new content and there's the drops, and then the following week I will do I'll be back to XCOM 2. We'll do proper Monday and Wednesday XCOM 2. Friday we'll be back to Cyberpunk, and just generally something that people have gotten, maybe the lineup that people have gotten used to. Although I do realize I've been playing a bit more Outlast Trials lately. When I last played this, I had been going through the Project Breach catalog, so we're now onto the 11th page. I don't really want to spend 1,000 tickets for the top. I figure we'll probably start with the A New You and work our way up. So I've bought the Project Relapse catalog, which maybe we'll fill in a couple of pages for, and then I believe we're back to Winter Kills when the update arrives on Wednesday. I do see a few more dropped frames, so a little worried about that. If somebody can just let me know if there are any quality problems, because I can drop the VPN if I need to. I haven't needed to when I play the game though. So yeah, but the other thing that I think is going to be interesting, or I might start with a bit of lore so that people can, well, I guess that's the question. Do I do a run first and then, and then read the lore, like give people a chance to come in? Do I do the Rebirth first? I think what I'll maybe do here is I'll start filling in some of the daily tasks, and then we will... maybe we'll move into a Rebirth and the I think that's the way I'll do it. So good news here, I don't need to worry about any specific rigs. Under my weekly tasks, this is going to be a fun one. So I'm not quite ready to do escalation. I feel like that's something that maybe I can do in a I can do that hopefully maybe after I do the Rebirth, or sorry, not Rebirth, the Relapse. But I've got to throw five projectiles at Coil event here. So I think I have an idea about how I want to do this. So what I'm thinking I'll do, head over to the terminal here. Sorry, there is one other thing I wanted to double check. My understanding here and how I'm going to organize today's play session, I believe the max Rebirth tokens will be 1,000. I'd just like to verify that before I go any further. In Outlast Trials, I mean, this is the AI overview, so this may not actually be answer, but in Outlast Trials, you can store a maximum of 1,000 Rebirth tokens, though each Rebirth attempt itself requires 100 tokens and consumes them. You earn tokens by completing trials, 10 for main, 5 for MK challenges, and you can stack them up to the 1,000 limit for repeated Rebirths or to help teammates reach the 100 token requirement. So if I did have a plan where I was going to be running through the as many of the intensive missions as I could, but clearly if I do that, I'm going to be leaving tokens on the table. So I want to throw some stuff at Coil. I need to do that at least at the end of 5 days, so I don't necessarily need to do it right now, but why not, right? Try and find some documents and then just complete trials where I can. On top of that, do door traps, adrenaline syringes, and bash open the doors. So what I was thinking here, go to the terminal. So I've already done the routine therapy. So I've also done under intensive, I've got my A+ in the police station already. So one option I have is to just head to Cleanse the Orphans and try and move my way up through the orphanage. But I was thinking maybe we do the courthouse so that we can get, I can have the interactions with Coil and just call it there. Obviously this is a 45-minute, this is a 45-minute run, but I'm going to have to get this stuff done anyway. So, and more importantly, this will start preparing me for some of the rebirths that I'm going to be running into. So for Vindicate the Guilty, increased threat, more and deadly traps, limited intel, limited items, and limited hide spots. So more difficult than what I was planning, but this is, I'm trying to sort of get to the level I should be at in terms of these encounters. So Vindicate the Guilty, trial, 1 to 4 players, 45 minutes. We cannot allow our innocent institutions to be persecuted for their clear guilt. Sabotage the proceedings, silence the witnesses, and revoke the authority of the judge. So what I think I'm going to do here, this will be a chance for people to, you know, kind of file into the stream, because I figure the people who hang out might be more interested in some of the lore anyway. So we'll do one of these. Then we'll read maybe a couple of the lore sections, and then, or the evidence is specifically what it's called. And then from there, I believe I'm justified, and it would not be a bad idea for me to do the rebirth, which on paper only takes, excuse me, on paper it should only take 15 minutes, but it's actually, I found, a little more challenging.
You are loyal. We cannot allow the tyranny of facts and impartial reason to condemn the people who protect and guide you. The past is changeable. The future is set. Sabotage the court, kill the judge, and we will let you out.
So I'm noticing the occasional set of dropped frames. If anybody can just let me know if this is creating problems for the stream. It's definitely quite... Okay, so again, remembering that I want to get rid of the door traps. Happy for the opportunity to knock down a couple of the goals. Is that? That's a battery. I want to be a bit careful around this. I'm not quite ready for Alright, wasn't worried about that. So if I have to run, I have to run, but... Alright. I don't know what hit me, but probably... Whoa! Alright, Obviously, that's not how you want it to start. I don't know what froze me there. Ugh. Okay, that might have just been a legitimate hit from the axe. Oh, I'm dead. So biggest thing here is I can't expect to have an A+. I'm pretty sure dying is already has already eliminated that as a possibility, but that doesn't mean I can't try and make the most of the opportunity for So again, the chance for like the chance for the A+ is probably a bit much to ask for right now, but if I can it's good to know. I wouldn't normally waste this on something like a first aid kit, but obviously I got hit pretty hard.
Please report to the courtroom for an opening statement by the defense.
Okay. So, I suppose a lot of this now hinges on the adrenaline syringe being available. Now, what does slightly disappoint me is... Whoa! I had thought I'd seen an outline... There it is. Okay, not so clear that they're going through the door, so... Should probably just generally treat it like I don't want to hang around longer than necessary, but I am still going to try and do my usual, like, knock down the barriers where I can. Acknowledging, of course, that by making noise, this is going to piss someone off. It's actually going to piss more than one person off. Okay, they're gonna be hunting me down. Ooh, this is a bad place to be. So I think my best bet here is just keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on that door. All right. Yeah, I'm seeing some pretty nasty frame drops.
Double dealing the nation's goddamn lawyers are not taking this indictment away from me! She's gonna pay for what I say she done.
These are fast becoming my least favorite enemies. Generally, it just kind of feels like they are very difficult to avoid. I've had cases where I sort of felt like I was okay. Night vision guy is going to be a bit of a problem.
They've never believed this shit back home. I see everything! Everything! Boy, I tell you, if I had these in the war...
Isn't adrenaline.
You son of a bitch and bastard! Shitbird glowworm home!
Okay, that's secondary objective. I think I'm gonna have to go back there at some point, but...
Ladies and gentlemen of the court, the state accuses my client of kidnapping, torture, and mutilation of 4 men and women. To which I say, where is your evidence of these heinous crimes? If there's no evidence, there is no crime. I only want justice.
So these are going to be pretty interesting in the context of the higher difficulty. Okay. 2, 4, 1... 2, 4, 1, 0. Now, one thing I'll just say, if it seems like I'm kind of just obsessively hitting the rig, that's partly because it gives me a score towards the end. So if I can do stuff like, so I'm not too worried about power, for instance, because, you know, I'm already going to recharge that off the rig. But yeah, basically if I get a chance to sort of boost the XP that I get for some of the things that I've been doing, that can help me compensate the death. Although again, I'm pretty sure dying is like a guaranteed. You're more or less guaranteed not to get an A+. I can't remember exactly what the point values are, but I probably should just not get my hopes up. I'm also wondering whether or not there will be I'm wondering if there's going to be any sorry, what am I trying to say? I am wondering if there's going to be any adrenaline. Probably don't want to be spending too much time in the lobby, but... I can, let's knock something down. I guess I technically don't need to worry about disabling the traps anymore, but I don't think it's a bad idea to... Okay. Whoa!
Future's here already.
I actually do rather like the way that they handled that conflict, so I didn't realize there was an enemy there at the time. And what they did was they pushed me out of the way as opposed to just sort of immediately turned it into a chase or a fight. I feel like that's a reasonably fair way of handling something that could just as easily go to the go against the player. I am probably a little over-eager to find... Probably a little over-eager to find adrenaline. But, oh, hello! Let's be careful about that. Oh, busted. Okay, not the room I wanted to go into, though. But there's obviously acid over there, so... let's do what we have to do. Again, for those of you that are hanging out, if you do... notice any frame drops or something like that. Right now I'm sort of aware of the existence of them. They're usually pretty... Don't mind me. You can't do that through a door! Still doing his thing, huh? I would have thought he'd be going to the dark by now. Alright. So obviously I don't want to run with this. Just do a quick scan for any adrenaline. I should probably be doing a scan for enemies rather than adrenaline, but, you know, priorities. Don't mind me.
I wonder if they make these for looking through claws.
Not my favorite.
Fucking go, you're gonna fucking die. I see you, shitbird.
Not the skinner man. I'm straight dead. I'm okay.
Now, it seems to me like dropping down with acid is not a good idea. I'm not taking a position on dropping acid, mind you. What the hell's he doing in there? I thought he was in the lobby. Alright, now that is rather unfortunate. Oh, he's totally sees me. You know what? That's fair. I really wanted to stay on this upper level because I really don't want to have to come back up for the acid, but I am... So I am actually, despite the fact that I'm obviously having a harder time with this than I was expecting, I like that I am. It makes me sort of feel like this is probably where I should be playing and sort of building my...
I'm gonna watch you bleed, and I'm gonna watch you die.
I feel like this is the level I should be pursuing and like trying to... okay. I wanted to try and get over the... Yeah, I feel like this is a reasonable one to sort of have an ambition to build up to.
Picking you up and sending you back.
Okay, that's fine. If I recall, there's more than a couple of these that I need to do, so... I remember this room. So why are the stairs pointing here? Was this a lot easier than I can't believe myself. Alright, well, lesson learned. Figure that'll replace the one that I lost at the start. Now, we've got the Berserker, I think? Yeah. So let's not play around with this too much. Alright, unfortunately, poorly timed. Can't wait forever. So, next up, evidence. Might be a bad idea to just take a peek in some of these and see if I can... Oh! So, no health, but... I probably shouldn't be expecting too much health, and what that suggests to me is that in future... I may want to consider bringing the heal rig. This I might be willing to use the lockpick for, but I'd feel better if I could find a replacement lockpick. Okay, so let's get a little worried about coil. Okay, I'm not banging open that door, especially with coil running around like that. I am also a little concerned by the number of windows I see there. Right, shouldn't try to... So, now that I think of it, I'm not sure it would be a bad idea for me to just keep all this under lockdown. Now is a terrible idea for me to hit that button, though. So, let him do his thing. Okay. Let's see what we're looking at here. Alright, blank, 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 8. 7, blank, blank, 8. 7 blank 0 8 7108. Let's just give him some time. Excellent. That looks like my head. Oh crap. Wish I had a better idea of where it was. Okay, so we also have some health. Ah, that's a welcome surprise. Slightly less welcome when I see the greeting party, but we'll all learn to make sacrifices. I really want to get that adrenaline. So, couple
Please return to the courtroom for the presentation of evidence.
So before I do that, I'm going to go back to the area where it felt like there was So again, accepting that... Oh yeah, you know what? I completely ignored coil when I could have been throwing projectiles at him. Bingo. So even if I don't get my A+, I figure it's at least worth... It's at least worth knocking out whatever the tasks are. If I have a battery... Or you know what? Keeping batteries in here wouldn't be a bad idea. It's the batteries outside the... So sort of same idea as before. If I have something that'll get me some extra points for doing it. Yeah, if I get a chance to do something that earns me some extra points, you know, I feel like writing off the sorry, let me do the courtroom bit.
Considering the lack of evidence, I move that the case against my client be dismissed. Objection! Your Honor, the state requests a recess while we gather witnesses.
This birds. We got witnesses. None. It's real. God, you're gonna kill me for nothing. Absolutely.
So this will leave me short on throwables. Sorry, there was something I was trying to say before and I... Oh yeah, anyways, like... Acting like I haven't lost the opportunity to get an A+ is consistent with the kind of gameplay that I feel that took longer than it was supposed to. I sort of feel that that's consistent with the kind of gameplay that I need to learn in these challenges anyway. Now, as far as I can tell, these guys kind of charge you when you pop them. So I'll see if he runs under the... Oh, yep. I gotta get out of here. Where did he go?
I hope you're ready, because I'm ready.
Ooh, that's good. Crap. Okay, priorities. Ooh, that was close. Oh, all right. Also, obviously disrespected the splash damage on the... on the explosion. It will be a sad, sad day when I have to play this with other people. I can head upstairs. Okay, it seemed to me like I need to hang a left. Also makes sense because I can't take advantage of my...
Here we are.
Open question as to whether or not I should keep obviously close, but there's also a few people running around here, so I guess the good news is we already know Henrietta's not a problem. Bingo. Ah, really? So I don't know if that's because he can see, or if I just made too much noise. Okay, I would not be surprised if somebody was... This is one where I run. Definitely somebody big coming nearby. A lot of bright areas here, so I don't really need to worry about power, but... Oop. Hey, Tabirosity, thanks for looking. Sorry, I haven't gone back to Outlast Trials recently. Or sorry, to XCOM. I've been doing some Outlast Trials recently. I do intend to... Alright, they're gonna come through there. I do intend to return to XCOM in reasonably short order. But there's gonna be a special... There's going to be sort of a special special event coming up. All right, this is not even close to where I want to be, and I got to get out of that room. mind me. Pretty sure I get the sound trap penalty for running over some of that broken glass, but as far as trade-offs go, I think that that was the right one. Okay, so barred door will at least be a nice compensation for that. He's close. I didn't realize how close. He can't be in this room. Now, we kept going the wrong... I feel like I'm going crazy. Yeah, so this gets me a 4, but as soon as I cross over from here... Right? Yeah, so... Okay. If I was braver, I could have had him there. Oh, don't mind me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Bingo.
Please return to the courtroom for deliberation.
So I think I'm going to have to accept that there are... I think I'm just going to have to accept that I'll have fewer throwables. I don't feel super comfortable about that, but I think, you know, now's probably the time for me to get used to new challenges. Actually, if I go to the courtyard, there should be a couple of bricks, so in the worst case scenario, if I do need to get them again, I at least have... like, they're not that far away. I may regret it, but we'll see. And just as a periodic reminder, if any of you happen to notice some frame drops or something like that, just let me know, because this is a bit of a test of the new internet connection.
This trial is the clearest miscarriage of justice I've ever seen. The state has no evidence, no witness, and frankly, no case. I humbly request you toss out these charges and find my client not guilty.
Respectfully, Your Honor, I will rip your spine down your asshole. I will get all of this right. Just tell me what you want me to say.
All right, endgame. So this first part, I want to just keep cool.
Mind the back.
Now, that's all well and good. I think I only got 2 hits on him there. Yeah. It does specify throw the projectiles at Coil.
With the law.
Didn't say I needed to hit. Biggest problem. I like Coil's lines way too much.
Guilty's the only way this goes.
So yeah, one of the challenges I ran into here is I kind of abandoned... Oh, here we go. And just as a prep...
No such thing as a mistrial. Don't you worry. I'm gonna clean this back in space.
Alright, that's gonna be... Damn it! I screwed up big time there. Okay, Skinnerman's eating me alive. Sacre bleu! That was definitely a case of too clever by half on my part, in terms of fulfilling the weekly, but...
Don't you worry, honey. The ponies are... It's hurtful. That's bad. I have feelings too.
Okay, don't think it would hurt to kill this mine. You know what? Screw it. mean, it's thin protection, but it's something. Okay, so because I know where he's based. Don't mind me. I don't know what door anybody's going to be coming out of, so... Okay, let's get out of here. Whoa! YOLO! Damn it. Alright, you know what? I deserve that. Yeah, unsurprisingly, that was not an A+. Strong therapeutic response. Mark chart for correlation of sleep spindles. So that was good. I did like the experience of that. Obviously, I made a huge blunder in terms of the kill. I have no idea if the received damage or lost sanity would have tilted me over the edge there, but because I think surviving psychosis is actually gives you a fairly decent amount, but. But the big thing here, I actually need to decide whether or not I want to try that again in the near future. But there was a specific reason why I did that. And that was just to get a little bit of, get some progress on the weekly. I actually also got a...
Phenomenal. I barely recognize the pitiful, broken human garbage that crawled into this facility. You were getting better.
So yeah, I don't know, like, make lemonade, I guess is the story behind that one. So if we take a look at the tasks, we've got our dailies in. So throw 5 projectiles at Coil, right? We managed that. I need one more evidence document and one more trial before we're done. Oh, sorry, and then the escalation, but that'll happen in its own time. So, what my actual plan was, right, I've got my A+ on intensive for the police station, and now I've got an A for the courthouse, although obviously you want that to be an A+. So the original plan was I would just go through each of these missions in order, or sorry, the trial and then the challenges in order to be able to, just basically get my skill level up. And part of that was in anticipation of the Rebirth. But the fact of the matter is I'm actually quite close to Rebirth already. So it may not be a bad idea for me to just move into that one right now so I can draw down on my tickets. I think basically the second Rebirth is standard difficulty, and then I think the third looks to be similar to the intensive. And I do remember, even though it may be one of the MK challenge levels, it expects you to do 3 different things, and so definitely I'll be taking more than the 15 minutes on it. So what I want to do before I go into that, I've been trying to get through the Did I do American Century? Yes. Yeah. Yeah, so we're on to variators now, because I spent so much time on the experimental population. So this is, it's a fair amount, but I think we'll just do this, we'll do this tranche of evidence, and then we can decide maybe if we can maybe decide if we want to pursue that, you know, at the end of the stream. Also, just bear with me a second. I want to bundle myself up a little bit more in the blanket. It's cozy out last year. The rest of it's, you know, in a dark apartment by myself. Actually, it was streaming this on the Discord for a regular viewer. Anybody could have watched it on the Discord, but just the regular viewer was the one who was present. And I had apparently, I don't know if either I was just you know, I just sort of made the wrong movement, and it was enough to push them over the edge, or if they were just waiting. But on like my highest shelf of bookshelves, instead of just shelving them, I had a bunch that were sort of on the edge, just because like the main body of the shelf is occupied, and they're not light books. So while I was playing Outlast Trials in the pitch dark, being chased around by maniacs, there's all of a sudden a loud crash behind me. That was character building. Anyways. All right, variators. Program Geister. A visitor, Easterman Journals, August 28th, 1959. Murkoff Court personal surveillance, copy, private journal entry of Dr. Hendrik Jollet Easterman, August 28th, 1959. Wernicke continues to haunt the sleep room. He has not seen me watching from my hidden vantages. Indeed, Wernicke seems completely uninterested in any Murkoff staff, focused entirely on the reagents in the sleep room as they rest and recover between trials. Barlow tells me Wernicke's been watching reagents sleep, going so far as to participate in some patients' paralytic trauma therapy. Wernicke's work at Los Alamos is centered on dreams and superstition, subjects that pose a dangerous source of infection for Lathe 2. Subconscious surgery requires scalpels, not chainsaws. We need nightmares. Murkoff Minutes, September 22nd, 1959. Transcription from tape of conference between A. Bradley Avellanos and James Lawler, secured phone line. Edited for clarity, minutes 14 through 17. It's out of Los Alamos? That's right. Good. We're calling it Program Geister. Geister? That sounds like paperclip. It's in collaboration with Dr. Wernicke's lab. Dulles is going to like that. Do you want to hear the précis? I read the notes. It's good direction. I don't have a lot of time here. So I can tell the board we have the agency's cooperation. You read the newspaper? We get them a few days late out here. Cuba's not looking good. The Castro we saw on Ed Sullivan is not the Castro pissing all over the over-United fruit. I'll cash out my banana investments. It's not funny. 100 miles off our shores, Castro's making all the worst enemies. The agency is not averse to spending money right now. All this latent agency business here is a little slow for the tone of foreign relations right now. Geister is a more aggressive program. Aggressive is good. We don't need agents of eventual disruption. We need actionable weapons. Wernicke is promising nightmare material. Good. We need nightmares. I'll tell the board we have your approval. Geister proposal to board. A. Bradley Avellanos letters to August 1st, 1959. Inter-office correspondence between A. Avellanos and the board. Heading removed. Our compatriots at Los Alamos have identified extraordinary commercial potential and unexpected side effects of Project Lathe 2, as expressed in, among others, reagent 0877. Please reference earlier results. Specifically, the convergent extrasensory activity among test subjects relating to the so-called Skinner Man. The hallucinations are remarkable in their own right, but the fact that they are shared between unrelated reagents in separate trials is extraordinarily provocative. Dr. Wernicke has been tracing the increase of reagent hallucinations, correlating directly to seasonal change despite the Signala facility's complete removal from outside variation in light and temperature. Dr. Wernicke is proposing trials in convergent hallucination titled Program Geister, centered on a specific schedule of chemical encouragement and guided trauma. Results will be shared with Los Alamos and Mount Massive, the budget accordingly amortized. Our agency partners have already expressed interest, and we can expect outside funding to put us in the black even before exploitation of trial results. Full budget and proposal attached. Please advise. DBNR, signature, A. Bradley Avellanos. Geister approval, Murkoff accounts, October 3rd, 1959. Heading removed. The board has officially authorized Program Geister. All test results to be shared with Los Alamos, Mount Massive, and agency partners. All Geister trials will be under the authority of Los Alamos staff, primarily Dr. R. Wernicke. Additional expenses should be minimal, primarily related to pharmaceuticals and cleanup/biohazard disposal. Handwritten note at the bottom of the page, call me, dangerous expectations from the board. Winter Kills. Cuban Adventure, A. Bradley Avellanos letters, September 22nd, 1959. Private correspondence between A. Bradley Avellanos and Jameson Lawler. Dear Jameson, I was frankly a little surprised by your letter regarding our Cuban adventures. The products functioned as orders, even if admittedly the incorrect targets were killed. This has always been as much art as science, and some degree of experimentation continues out in the field. Most importantly, none of the reagents or their activity has been linked in any way to Murkoff or the agency. I would not consider anything that happened in Cuba a failure, but a further trial. We honed techniques, we gained valuable data, and considering the exchange rate, at a shockingly affordable price, notwithstanding human life. Warmly, A. Bradley Avellanos. So if you can just give me a second here, I'm going to adjust the mic stand. Cold Future, 1 of 2. Murkoff Minutes, December 5th, 1959. Transcription of tape of conference between A. Bradley Avellanos and Jameson Lawler, CIA. Edited for clarity, minutes 28 to 30. It's coming. Beard getting on stage at the same time Ike takes a bow. Goddamn disastrous. The boys in analysis call it 80% chance of tipping off in the next 5 years. Avellanos. Well, middle of nowhere, well below ground, isn't the worst place to be. Honestly, I think I'd rather die up here than live down here. I guess that's the question, isn't it? How bad's it gonna get before you throw in the towel? Paper wrestling. And these just show a minimal strike. I've seen Fallout maps before. These are aftermath maps, from the point of impact of each bomb. Next day, 6 months, 2 years, 5 years. Nobody thinks nuclear war won't be bad. These numbers are radiation. These are temperatures. You're kidding. Fahrenheit or Celsius? That low doesn't matter. Depending on strikes in Europe, we lose the Gulf Stream, and with airborne particles, you're smiling. It's nice to see you. That's not the kind of smile you're smiling. You came here shopping. You need to prepare agents that you can put in environments that'll kill them with cold. We'll still achieve their objectives, even if they know they're going to freeze to death. Agent survivability has never been key to our operation. You put a proposal together. I think you could see Gottlieb feeling considerably friendlier to Murkoff contracts. If you're capable of this, why wouldn't we be? I mean, this kind of temperature change on this scale. Jameson, if there's anything your experience with Murkoff has taught you, I hope it is to trust our ability to deliver. It's not cheap. That's how you know it'll work. Endless Winter. December 6, 1959, transcription of tape conference between A. Bradley Avellanos, Moses Scarfiotti, and H.J. Easterman. Edited for clarity, minutes 45 to 51. Could be built, and very quickly. Humming sound. Not cheaply. That's what I said. I think Jameson's getting us in with the agency. He likes what we're doing here. Humming sounds continue. Or he sees something else he likes. Moses. You don't see it? He sniffs around you like a hungry dog. I don't think agency policy would be affected by one agent's personal peccadillos. Humming sounds continue. Whatever gets us the money. What the fuck are you humming about, Hendrik? Sorry? You're humming and you're rocking in your chair. It's making me crazy. I think Winter Kills may be very fruitful. It addresses a deeply rooted and universal fear we have not yet fully explored in the trials. It's a giant blank spot in our tableau of cultural trauma. Sudden mass-scale annihilation, followed by a grinding, endless winter of ever more pain. Are you sure the board will approve it? If it's bringing in money, the board will approve it. We may need to recruit more reagents. Mortality rates will spike. That won't be a problem. It's the one we get to look forward to. Now, toxic shock was the first special event I ever did. Gottlieb is uncomfortable. January 5th, 1960. Transcription from tape conference between Moses Scarfiotti and Sidney Gottlieb. Edited for clarity. Transcriptionist note, especially removal of vocal tics. How's Alan? Alan doesn't change. If the world's making him uncomfortable, he puts the impetus of change on the world. Very true, very true. You, however, you said you had a concern. I did. In observing a trial, I heard something very disturbing. I heard my name spoken by one of your, experimental population. It's not possible. I don't know how a patient here would be familiar with me. I avoid the public eye. Some of our ex-pop is composed of former Murkoff staff. If they've succumbed to mental difficulties or become a security risk, waste not, want not. Very wise. It's just that with a project I hope to propose, I need a certain level of trust and discretion. You know me, Sid. And this is why we're talking. If I can say, nobody can hear us, right? Just you and me. I get an odd feeling from this Easterman fellow. He looks at me as if I'm going to pick his pocket. Well, Easterman is an impotent paranoiac with a god complex. It's not that he's uncomfortable around you, Sidney. It's that he's chronically uncomfortable. Still, the project I would like to propose may be somewhat uncomfortable in its own right. Please, Sid. Uncomfortable might as well be Murkoff's trademark. Does Unit 731 mean anything to you? No? Part of Paperclip. Fascinating material. There's a Japanese doctor I'd like to bring in. He has some very provocative notions. Chemicals in Translation. 1 of 2. Murkoff Minutes, January 10th, 1960. I actually think this is where there's a connection to the Crusses as well. Transcription from tape of conference between A. Bradley Avalanos and Jun Kasamura with translator. Edited for clarity. Transcription note, all Japanese language non-transcribed. Minutes 4 through 6. Japanese. Mr. Kazumura is curious if you have any of the dihydrocodone. He would like to know if you have any of the drug that was in possession of Hermann Goering when he was captured by the Allies. I'm sure we could produce any type of methamphetamine that Mr. Kazumura would want. Japanese and laughter. He feels there is a spiritual element to the quality of a drug produced in the final years of Nazi Germany that could not be recreated in peacetime. Which part of that was funny? I don't know. Chemicals in Translation, Part 2 of 2. Of course, we would expect full disclosure of all chemicals used. He will provide a full accounting of all chemicals, but his intention is to amplify physical trauma through, I'm not sure of the word, forced dreaming, maybe? Imagined trauma? It's a difficult concept to Japanese and laughter. He finds inspiration in your German. He would like to drink with your German. He said the human body can be a factory to mass produce its own destruction. Sure, him and Wernicke could drown puppies together. Don't translate that. Tell him I said, of course, at the earliest convenience. Japanese, followed by Japanese and laughter. This is difficult. I'm not sure I got the full context. He says, maybe the lies of Korea will make a truth we could bring to the rest of the world? I'm not certain. Laughter. Toxic shock approved. January 16th, 1960. In Murkoff Corp. Interorganizational letters only. Copy. Heading removed. The board has officially authorized the program codenamed Toxic Shock. All test results will be internally reviewed and redacted before sharing with agency partners. All Toxic Shock trials will be under authority of Dr. H.J. Easterman with meaningful consultation by Dr. Jun Kazumura. All in-trial staff must be warned against presence in or proximity to trial environments during toxic shock events. Extremely dangerous gas in use. New friends, A. Bradley Avalanos letters, January 24th, 1960, Murkoff Corp. Interorganizational letters only, copy to Oliver Baranczyk from A. Bradley Avalanos. Mr. Baranczyk, you've seen the results of our toxic shock program. I was not consulted in its name. I would have offered notes. Dr. Jun Kasamura, lent to us from the agency, was a key consultant in the project and has made multiple requests for an audience with Dr. Wernicke. We've had difficulty in translation with Dr. Kazumura. Either the words for spiritual and psychosomatic are interchangeable in Japanese, or the doctor is confused. In either case, he is proposing that the remarkable efficacy of placebos in toxic shock has a provocative overlap with the work at Wernicke's Dream Lab. He'll be arriving at Los Alamos on Tuesday. Please make the necessary introductions. I would advise extra security both in Casamura's immediate area and any objects, especially food and drink, he has access to. Casamura does tend to indulge in his hobbies. Signature A. Bradley Avellanos. Sorry, just give me 1 second here, please. All right. Prime time. The Opportunist. Murkoff Minutes, September 25th, 1959. Murkoff Corp. Copy, transcription of a tape of conference between A. Bradley Avellanos and H.J. Easterman. Edited for clarity. They can't pin the Cuban fiasco on Lathe. We can pivot. They got what they ordered, more than they ordered. The agency wanted targets eliminated, and then got all nitpicky. Hendrick slowed down. Transcription note, possible loss in crosstalk. Maybe the wrong people got killed, but in sheer volume, you can't argue we didn't deliver. Dr. Easterman, what? We're not solely beholden to agency funding. The board can unlock other accounts if we offer other opportunities, especially if those opportunities involve opiates. Opiates. I don't believe there are any poppy fields in Cuba. There are casinos in Cuba, American organized crime. Our contacts in Havana are reporting that a mafia element may have been a participant in the activities. Our reagent was allegedly only responsible for one of the murders. One? The other 7 may have been done by this opportunist. Lupa, Murkoff Minutes, September 25th, 1959. Transcription of a tape of conference between A. Bradley Avellanos and Dr. H.J. Easterman. Edited for clarity. What the hell does that mean, an opportunist? Just that. He would have been in Cuba on casino business. We believe he's connected to organized crime out of Louisiana. And you believe this gangster saw our reagent eliminating a target, and what? Decided not to get in, why not get in on the action? There's a certain unavoidable chaos in violent situations. We're sending Clyde Perry down to investigate. Does this gangster have a name? Undoubtedly. Our sources are Spanish speakers, and one of them lost a piece of his jaw in the incident, but they called him Lupara, or Lupa. Lupa. That's Spanish for magnifying glass, or Italian for wolf. Politicians. Murkoff Corp. Transcriptions from tape of conference between H.J. Easterman and staff, unidentified, edited for clarity, minutes 3 through 7. I never trusted either of them, Gottlieb or Casamura. Are we sure they're gone? Casamura has been at Los Alamos at least a week. We're not training reagents for trench warfare. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Sorry? Easterman shouting illegible sounds of violence. Sorry, stop! Stop! We are making thought leaders. We are engineering charisma. Fuck, any goddamn idiot can pull a trigger. We're making martyrs and psychopomps. We are making the mold cavity of invisible world leadership, and you can't fucking do that with fucking gas. I'm bleeding. Prime assets. Prime assets have always been the key. Transcriptions of tape conference between H.J. Easterman and A. Bradley Avellanos on February 5th, 1960. Edited for clarity, minutes 35 to 38. It's science. People get hurt. I'm not the observing scientists. Cry me a fucking river. Anybody here who doesn't understand our mission is too dangerous to be here. My point stands. The tool post of our lathe is charisma. We have to focus on prime assets. You know we're bringing another one into the experiment. Yes, something we must do with utmost care. The reagent population needs to be prepared. Archetypes are our architecture. In Gooseberry we have a mother. In Coil we have a father. So the groundwork is there. Not quite. We need to bring them together. Together. in one trial. That is hideously irresponsible. You're smiling. It would kill more reagents than it would train. I've never seen you smile so brightly. The Prod and the Toaster. March the 6th, 1960. Company correspondence between Moses Scarfiotti and Cornelius Noakes. Mr. Noakes, you've got only one job, and it's to keep our reagents' experimental special operations platform working. That means fixing them when they break. It also means upgrading them to withstand shifting conditions inside the trials. We've repeatedly seen Sergeant Coyle disabling toasters with his electric prod. We're trying to maintain a balance of trauma and opportunity inside the trials, and we can't do it if the test subjects like Coyle are able to sabotage our machinery. Figure it out. You're no longer working for the military. Good enough is not good enough. Let me remind you that this is the sort of organization where people don't get fired. Primetime Cleanup. Murkoff Memorandums, February 27th, 1960. Project Lathe 2, Project Lead, Dr. Hendrik Jollet Easterman. Memorandum to all Signala staff. Subject, Project Primetime. The board has approved funding for Project Primetime, in which multiple Prime assets will be simultaneously released into the same trial. All staff will follow strict protocols for chemical and physical restraint of Prime assets in transport before and after each trial. Cleanup staff have been doubled for the duration of the program in anticipation of increased biohazard and human offal in environments. Expect violent paradoxical ideation in reagents subjected to multiple charismatic forces. Additional halothene will be made available for reagents needing rest, as lingering psychosis and parasomnia are anticipated. Primetime 2. Her handwriting. Murkoff Minutes, April 29th, 1960. Murkoff Corp. Transcription from conference between A. Bradley Avellanos, H.J. Easterman, and Moses Scarfiotti, edited for clarity, minutes 12 to 15. It's everywhere. Jesus Christ, it's even her handwriting. They're emulating her. The therapy makes reagents vulnerable to charismatic influence, and they built Amelia into an imaginary psychopomp. Maybe watching her piss herself on a wall for a few weeks might help correct that. How do we stop the graffiti? It's going up faster than we can clean it. The reagents are hungering for godheads, for leadership. We need to give them more exposure to the Prime assets. In the short term, we can bring back Prime Time. Including Franco? Of course. Jesus, the environments. Something breaks, something goes wrong, that's our art. Crisis is just potential. Thought Leaders. Murkoff Minutes, June the 3rd, 1960. Transcription from a tape of conference between A. Bradley Avellanos, H.J. Easterman, and Moses Scarfiotti, edited for clarity, minutes 92 to 95. We're talking about in the trials, actually inside the trial environments. Of course. It's absurd, it's too dangerous. I'm bringing Kazumura back on site. He understands, and we'll have new data from our second primetime experiment. We can make it work. She taught herself Japanese. Did you know that? Just to talk to Kazumura, to have somebody to discuss chemical science with. We couldn't guarantee control. The trial environment couldn't handle it. After what we just went through, we can sell this to the agency. Call it politics. We always said we could create politicians. Thought leaders. Same thing. Communal Rebirth. Stare Down the Sun, Easterman Journals, June the 12th, 1960. Murkoff Corp. Personnel Surveillance Copy. Private Journal entry of Dr. Hendrik Jollet Easterman. I stared down the sun. I looked into the face of God and said, blink. And my reward is the mirror. I can look into the mirror again. My new face, my opened eyes, hairless, dead and reborn. You have to die and be reborn if you want to teach your children to die and be reborn. Emil Schreier had to put a bullet in his head before he could see the visions he reported to Jung. The sun he saw had an enormous cock, and its gift was wind. I look in the mirror, and I see a sun with a cock. I'll burn you all from the surface of the world. I'll give you life to grow again. The Romans who worshipped Mithras were persecuted until they were driven underground with their studies, their rituals of initiation, their medicines, and the slaying of their bulls. I wonder if old Jung would look at what I have built in Signala and see the archetypes thriving. The mirror is sacred. By the way, I've been in a Mithraeum in London now. Mirror image, Easterman Journals, June 25th, 1960. Murkoff Court, personnel surveillance. Copy, private journal entry of Hendrik Jollet Easterman. Transcriber's note, the first lines appear to be written as if under duress. ININIMATT3NM. Transcriber's note, several hand-scratched letters, color of ink changes. Fascinating. I rested for 3 hours until the crest MIVIM had cleared from my system. Attempting to write with reversed vision proved comically difficult. The chicken scratch above is my attempt to write "I'm attempting" in block letters. Observing myself in the mirror under the influence of MIVIM was more rewarding. Reversed, the image of my reflection was more true than my real body. I could easily reverse reality itself, where my presence in the mirror was the true self, and the side of the glass was the reflection. It'll make communal rebirth possible. We administer Crest formula mirror image visual morphosia to reagents in sufficient doses to distance their minds and their physical bodies. A fellow reagent is no more than a figure in a glass, an intangible visual phenomenon. You can't feel them even if you can touch them, just lifeless glass. You can't smell their blood or their sweat. Scarfiotti says all the security breaches have been sealed. The facility is safe again. Rebirth will recommence. And finally, Deep Burn. Drowning. Easterman Journals, July 8th, 1960. Private journal entry of Dr. Hendrik Jollet Easterman. Who would tell the sun not to burn? They want temper my temper my children's very natural love for fire. Combustion is the driving force of the American century. This bureaucratic pussyfooting gives me Tosca. I would have said once that I had a gift. I was born with certain talents, a capacity for belief in something sublime. But I don't have a gift. I am a gift. I have been given to a task. I am a slave to history. I can teach my children children to love fire less. You can love a fine wine without being an alcoholic. I will not apologize to the sun. Water, symbolically, is both birth and death. I remember as a child my Sunday chore drowning glue-trapped mice. I remember discovering my own body in the privacy of a warm bath. So my children blink out a tiny piece of the sun on the surface of the earth with liquid sex and death. The therapy contains multitudes. Deep Burn Authorization. Murkoff Memorandums, July 13th, 1960. Murkoff Corp. Interorganizational letters only. Copy heading removed. The board has officially authorized the program codenamed Deep Burn. All test results will be internally reviewed and redacted before sharing with agency partners with an emphasis on efficacy. The so-called water being supplied to reagents is non-potable, largely human and animal sourced. If any skin contact by staff should be followed with any skin contact by staff should be followed with a decontaminating shower and a full course of antibiotics. Liquid transport in all extra-trial environments must be in properly sealed containers to minimize odor. I wonder if this is the burning variator. Too many pyromaniacs. June 29th, 1960. Transcription from tape of conference between A. Bradley Avalanos and Jameson Lawler, CIA. Edited for clarity, minutes 8 through 11. You're pouting. I don't pout. Come on, I've seen you with a bad taste in your mouth. What is it? The arson thing is getting to be a problem. If we wanted to set indiscriminate fires, we'd use napalm. You do use napalm, all the time. This country makes more napalm than Cheese Whiz. But it's not what we came to Murkoff for. We need scalpels, dupes with precise operational guidance and zero operational context. Don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. Look here, Kern County, Caracas, Tokyo. I've got a half dozen more. Places your reagents had single targets they were ordered to take out with knives or poison, and instead they set fires, half the time after the target's dead. Dead is dead. That's not a scalpel. If this gets traced back to you, it could get traced back to the agency. We're the good guys here. We can't have this rolling back on us. All right. So Signala HR is the next one, but I think we've had enough time with the lore. So, time for Rebirth. And actually, before I do that, I think I'm going to take a quick moment to... I think I should go to the bathroom because I figure once the trial starts, I'm going to want to sort of lock in. So I will be back momentarily, and then we'll get the rebirth started. So I'm just finishing some nuts and then we'll be ready to get back. I should have gotten something to drink too, but honestly, I'm not gonna... I'm probably gonna be focused on the Rebirth at this point, so... Hey, it's just me.
I didn't think you were gonna make it, but I'm happy you did. You have a chance here at freedom, but I'll need a confirmation you want to try it.
Alright, Rebirth. You have earned the right to attempt Rebirth, but the path you take to Rebirth is your choice. Solo Rebirth will return you alone to the mansion where your therapy began. Communal Rebirth will take you on a mirror image replay of a trial, alone or in a group, a reflection of all we've accomplished here. If you succeed, a new reagent will take your place in the facility. All your current progress is kept. So what I'll do here is I'm going to do the Communal Rebirth. That's the one that I did before. I'll do Solo Rebirth after I get all the newspapers. Are you ready, chat? Are you excited? I think there's a couple of neat lore bits in this.
You are the window to the outer dark. A fragile membrane of potential knives that reveals only the reversed truth of its interior. Shatter your surface, become a shower of diamond razors, and release yourself.
So, as you may have noticed, mirror image, this is surprisingly disorienting. Oh, the docks. This is definitely going to get some getting used to. Classified. Your records box is hidden in the trial. Find it and return it to the drop point. The secondary objective is required to complete the trial. So mandatory, who are you? And hear the words. Alright, it's already coming for me. Oh crap. Yeah. That was too slow. Not a promising start. Damn it! I don't know why I went to grab that. I wonder if that means it's over. I was not expecting a second chance of that. So, I mean, I'll be honest, right? This is not a good track record. Losing losing 2 characters at the start suggests to me I'm not focusing on the right stuff. Funny thing is, I don't think you get letter grades on Rebirth. I think you either pass or fail, so... I think it would be a bad idea for me to get a throwable here. Oh man.
Proceed with caution.
This is gonna be miserable. And all right, Henrietta's in the area. Yoink. So it'll be interesting if she turns out... Okay. I gotta get out of here. I think I'm gonna give the adrenaline a rest. Well, I don't know, it could go both ways. So the thing is here, I definitely need to do the spider. The spider trigger, so.
Spider. 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 Spider.
So I was gonna try and get a was going to try and get a bottle, but I think at this point we need to move on. I also noticed the scary music isn't around, so that might mean that... Oh, never mind. I think she arrived a little too late to be a permanent prime asset, or a permanent asset, but I should prepare for the possibility that I'm just gonna have to deal with her in the whole map. Okay, it's probably upstairs then. Oh, never mind. I'm obviously gonna have to give that some space. Okay, this is not where I want to be. Hopefully this is a decent little... Oh, okay, we got something... There we go. So again, try and be smart about the Jaeger. Okay, 873.
So close.
Spider. 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 Spider.
So I'm gonna want to move up to the casino. So I don't think I ran that far. I'm wondering if this does mean that Henrietta's finally giving me my space. Oh crap. So, obviously there's my personal file there, but those big guys sure do hurt. I really don't know how I feel about this. Nope, Henry is still here. It's a me. So obviously we need to be on the lookout for the big guy, but
I set this thing up. Now you get it done.
I really like the reflections of the water on there. I think I should prepare for basically this to be a permanent feature of the playthrough. Which is fine, like we'll get through it, but... In fact, I think maybe... Once I see her coming down the stairs... May not be a bad idea for me to give a run. Could you imagine if, based on the time that you've been in the trial, Henrietta starts moving faster? Okay. So Chemco and Trade Depot. So obviously, this isn't a... Oh. This isn't a permanent fix to the Jaeger. Oh. Crap. Bingo. Well, not quite bingo yet. I still need to figure out where the... Oh, there we go. So I'm actually taking the long way around here for the specific purpose of buying myself a little time. Oops. Okay, not an option anymore. Okay, can't... I mean, there is a side of me that says I could try and unlock the door, but if I fail... It's the wrong way.
Spider. 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 Spider.
Oh crap. Don't mind me. So I can't exactly rely on hiding in a locker here, because then Henrietta's going to get me. I'm basically going to treat this as if I've got a permanent hunter. That's not a noise I like. Oh. I believe it's just the train depot. Now, dropping down here would be a really fast way of...
Hey, here you are.
Ooh. I also still need to find the last radio. I'm missing this again. Getting spun around in the mirror world is trickier than it looks. Okay. Nope, that's going to be for the pyramid. Okay, well that's a guaranteed kill with the... So honestly, part of this is just wandering aimlessly through this part of the level to... Never mind. Yeah, so part of this is aimless wandering just to make sure that I can... or I can see if I can trigger the... oh, there we go. Pentagram. I may not have the time to run this, though. God, I do not have the bandwidth to contemplate this right now. I see part of the figure, but yeah, so I'm going to need to get closer. But obviously not with Henrietta in the area. So I don't want to get too far away from the objective. But I do want to draw her away so I can double back. Oh, it's a little late for me to do this, but let's give it a shot. Ah! I need So I've got some limited time to figure out the... Damn it, I'm in the wrong spot. That kind of sucks, because I sort of felt that I felt I queued that up properly, but so I feel like this is kind of making the same mistake as before, but I'm obviously struggling to remember where that was. Okay. Oh, crap. This time I have to fight my way out. That was doubly disappointing.
Spider.
Okay, so couple new priorities. This isn't what I actually want, but this is what I want. So I still have, after this, I still have one more 4, 2, 3. Okay, big guy.
Hey, who's it?
Oh, I screwed that up. Right now I'm looking for an antidote. And now I have the unenviable job of finding that last radio. There aren't too many places for it to hide. But unfortunately, I haven't found it in any of the... Okay. I was wondering who was kicking the door in.
Spider. 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 Spider.
So what I'm most interested in, acknowledging that I'm gonna struggle to... Bingo. All right. So I do want to keep the adrenaline for reasons that will become apparent in a moment. But beyond a little disorientation because of the mirror world, I'm feeling reasonably confident about the finale. This is going to provoke a response.
Watch your step.
So it seems to me like I need to... I mean, I may... Yeah, I may be a bit of a sitting duck for Henrietta here. She's going to come bursting through that door in a minute. So, new goal is the stairs without somebody detecting me. Again, this is a bit hair-raising, but pays off. Okay. Adrenaline. And scream YOLO to the exit. Screw it. Okay, I gotta heal up. So, catch here is I need to get to the exit. Here. I'm actually going to try and take the long way around.
Spider. 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 Spider.
So the catch here is I've got a prime asset and a giant waiting for me at the exit. So I think maybe what I do here is I take her up to the chemical plant. So objective number 1 is going to be to hit the button with the giant and Franco guarding the area. That's already a bit of a challenge on its own. Obviously, there are risks with this approach, but let's see where it takes me. Okay. Don't like that.
Get off me! You know who my father is?
So I need to rest up. Close to the finale, but I need to make sure I can...
Mommy, I'm gonna open you right up. Fucking rat anyway. Somebody got their hand in the fucking cookie jar.
Alright. One last run. And now you get to watch some cinematics.
Spider. Our servants will obey us absolutely. They will kill for us and die for us because they will believe with absolute conviction that our goals are their own.
The Telegram. Caracas burns. Explosions, fires shake Capital District. One suspect actively sought. A series of explosions and subsequent fires shook the quiet neighborhoods on and around the Paso Las Proceras midday in Caracas. People are promising to find the perpetrators and secure the route frequented by President Betancourt and other prominent. So, this is good fun. I'm going to try and let the credits run for the full duration. I know they're a bit long, but I also think there's a lot of people who should take a big bow for this. So I definitely really wanted to do... This is probably the main reason why I wanted to do Outlast Trials today, beyond, you know, just like testing the internet connection and stuff like that. Because, you know, I really do like the two Outlast games. I actually am beginning... There are things I wish that were different about Outlast 2, but that doesn't necessarily mean... I don't want that to necessarily translate to I think it's a bad game, right? There are... I'll actually go so far as to say, like, some of the game... I mean, like, a good example of this would be Cultist Simulator or Book of Hours, right? I think they are truly wonderful games by a couple of very talented game developers. And I think they would go so far as to say that there are things that, if they could do them again, they would do differently. But of course, this is, I think, true of just about any creative work that people have. And again, this is one of the reasons why I want to be focusing on these credits here. Imagine, right, trying to organize this many people around this very singular kind of experience, right? Like, I think the fact that they have created something like the Outlast experience in a multiplayer game is kind of incredible. I think the fact that they are, on top of that, able to add more to the story and the setting, I think is, for me, I think a really, really wonderful addition. So, you know, I think they are sufficiently interesting stories. So, like, to me, I don't necessarily think a game or a movie or anything like that needs to be how do I put it? Like, I don't think it needs to be sort of plumbing the depths of, you know, human emotion. It doesn't necessarily have to be the game's going to overwhelm me for a little bit, so I'll let you enjoy the ambiance. By the way, I still can't get over the fact that the casting and voice director is named Simon Peacock. Those of you that have read the comics will know why. So, I think much like frictional games, so Soma, the Amnesia, The Dark Descent, has an interesting story on top of this horror experience that people remember it for. And Soma suggests to me that while frictional does tell sort of horror-style games, that I think the emphasis is probably on the storytelling rather than the horror element. And I think probably people have expected more horror from them, which is why they continue to do more in the horror vein. And I do want this to be about Outlast Trials and Red Barrels, but, to me, I do think that I want to allow that. I think there are horror movies that are actually quite capable of taking on the big topics that you kind of expect of the more quote-unquote respectable genres, right? So I think a lot of people will expect and allow for science fiction to take on some big ideas, as well as being, still, they're allowed to be pulpy and spin a good yarn. But I think if you sit down and you watch a drama, right, or you watch, something by, it's not really a genre, but like if you sit down and watch something if you watch a movie by like Lars von Trier, people are like, you see a trailer for that, and you know that you are watching, cinema with a capital C. And I think some of the most interesting sort of horror science fiction, I guess what people would maybe call in writing genre fiction, I think some of the best examples of the really good ones catch you by surprise. So I'm thinking, if you think of Terminator, right? Terminator, and there's a specific reason I choose that one, right? Because of concern about the bomb. Obviously not exactly absent from some of the material that we were reading in the dossiers. That is a very smart and well-crafted movie, on top of being just a really kick-ass, science fiction thriller. Jacob's Ladder, I think, is a very interesting movie. I think it takes you on quite a ride. And I mean, I think if nothing else, its visual style can be seen in a certain vintage of music video, right? But I also think that it does have sort of something to say about mortality. It offers an interesting... it does offer an interesting perspective, and it, I think, in my opinion, has something interesting to say. And I think it promotes a certain type of thinking that maybe you wouldn't have done if you hadn't watched the movie. And so to me, I think, working in genre or working in something that tends to be... Sorry, I know I'm competing with the music again. This really is a good theme, by the way. So, I think working in genre does not prevent you from doing interesting and even thoughtful things, right? It's one of the things that I suspect people don't necessarily expect from stories like that. And so, I think likewise with Outlast 2, Outlast Trials, the fact that they also have the supporting comics, and the fact that there's the evidence and you get to read a bit more about sort of the Murkoff Corporation and all the things going on in the setting. I am really impressed how this is not just settling for, it's a multiplayer game, so we just want to give some thrills. I really like that it is continuing to contribute to these, to the setting that they've made. And I do want to talk more about the setting, but I also know there's going to be a bunch of noise in a little bit while I set up my new character.
Welcome to the therapy. I'm Dr. Easterman. I want you to think of me as a friend, a father, a confidant. Somehow I can't help but feel like I've met you before. Like a princess in a dream. Maybe this place was made for you, and you for it. Maybe there's no such thing as too healthy. No such thing as too much love. I think you and I may achieve something miraculous.
All right, proxy reagent. A reagent has earned their freedom, and somebody new must take their place. Choose a new identity. You will lose none of your progression. You have all the same rigs, upgrades, and accumulated trauma. You have lost nothing, and still have so much to gain. I mean, it says make a new character, but honestly, I'm going back to the old look, at least for now. I think I'm going to avoid the outfit for now. Oh, apparently I've got a new outfit, though. Good doctor. The doctor is here, always here to help. A reward for the reborn. Now, that's interesting, because I had already been reborn once. Might change the pants. Yeah, we'll go with that for now. We don't need to get too detailed. How do I feel about those night vision goggles, though? I usually like the big, bulky ones. I think I'll settle for... I might have got a few points out of that. Cool. Freedom is waiting. Your rebirth begins. I will get back to the topic I was talking about. Yeah, so my view here, I mean, there are other games that have done sort of a horror experience, a co-op horror experience. I don't know, I actually don't know the sequence, so I don't know who the innovator was. I don't know. I mean, they're all kind of innovators. It's, you know, people don't necessarily play just for a, you know, they don't necessarily play for a, you know, the exact same experience in other contexts. Ooh. Definitely want to do at least one more trial. But I do want to finish the thought that I had. So I think one of the things that I really appreciate about the way that the game handles sort of the story, and this isn't necessarily limited to Outlast Trials, but I do like how this really comes to light with the Outlast Trials. So, you have Outlast, you have Outlast 2, you have the comics which connect the two, you've got the Murkoff collections which talks about the prime assets, and then you have the evidence in here. And I think what kind of interests me on this one is the connection with the CIA. Now, obviously, they talk a bit about, that like the first Outlast game has Project MK Ultra, and again, to my view, Easterman is almost certainly Ewan Cameron, and I think a lot of the original Outlast is about the experiments that happened in the Allen Institute. One of certainly there's more than one instance of experiments being done on people without their permission or even knowledge. And one of the things that I think is interesting about this one, with sort of the conversations with the CIA, it brings me in mind of something that I read. Actually, I'm trying to remember if I read this in Foreign Affairs or if it was on one of their podcasts. So Council on Foreign Relations, which publishes Foreign Affairs, has a couple of podcasts. One of them is The President's Inbox. And then another one is the Foreign Affairs Interview. The Foreign Affairs Interview is one that will be with the author of an article inside of Foreign Affairs. But one way or the other, I definitely remember it was one of these CFR either podcasts or publications. And there was the observation made about sort of the history of sort of, let's say, U.S. paranoia of decline, and how it was something that had great, I guess for lack of a better term, creative potential. That it was something that had historically been quite effective at spurring action on the part of the American government and the American people. So much so, actually, that there's a certain kind of grizzled veteran at NASA that will actually refer to the U.S. moon landings as communism's greatest achievement. So the idea that Sputnik and the fear that the United States was falling behind in the race, leading to a kind of to spurring that investment and that big target of the moon was a like, again, that it's as much about beating the Soviets as, the Americans doing a big thing or the right thing. And I don't think it's limited to that. I don't think it's limited to that story, that case. Sorry, and I don't think it's unfair or I don't know. I don't want to say bad, but like, I think you can take that story and you can apply it to a few other circumstances, and I think it results in an interesting frame, let's say, to think about these to think about these ideas. I also think, like, obviously the article I was reading was referring to it in the it's a contemporary application.
Aren't you?
And I think...
Weren't you just well, the days kind of blur together here, don't they? You watch your ass here.
One of the reasons why I think that idea is interesting in the context of Outlast, and specifically the the MK Ultra stuff and the evidence in here, is that this is obviously something wrong, and there's this insistence on the part of the, of Lawler, the CIA agent responsible for the Murkoff account. I think, his insistence that we're the good guys, there's something revealed in that, right? Another, like a board game that's really interesting that takes place in this time is called Twilight Struggle. And it's essentially the sort of the immediate aftermath of World War II up to sort of the late 80s and the fall of the Soviet Union. Well, it doesn't have to be the fall of the Soviet Union. That's the whole point, that one side plays the Soviet Union, one side plays the US. one thing that's really smart about the design of that game is that regardless of the player that you play, there is this constant haunting fear that the other player is on the verge of victory. Like you get this real sense that your opponent holds all the cards and that you are in a near hopeless situation and that it can all fall to pieces right away. I think that is a really amazing thing that they have done in a game which is very much about the Cold War. And again, returning to that idea of sphere of decline, I think the article that I had read, or again, the podcast or whatever, pointed out that this has been an impulse that can, has historically led to very impressive accomplishments. But it is also the sort of thing that can lead to great mistakes. And, I'll maybe avoid the contemporary examples in this case here. But if we take that framing for Project Lathe and the fact that the CIA is funding it in this world, and that, again, it is based on actual activities that were financed by the U.S. government, I think there is really something interesting here about the way Lawler thinks of what he's doing and what Murkoff is doing, and that idea of the fear of decline or the fear of the enemy getting the upper hand, right? That sort of thinking, that kind of paranoia can also lead you to make very regrettable decisions, right? If you feel that this is it, this is the last chance, the last bastion, that's going to drive you to act in a certain way that might be incompatible with the principles that you may even just genuinely believe, right? This is always what has motivated the really interesting villains. They don't see themselves as, mustache twirling bad guys. They see themselves as acting in maybe I'm curious. I think I've looked this up before, but I'm a little curious in terms of Luke 11:14 now. Jesus was driving out a demon that was mute. When the demon left, the man who had been mute spoke, and the crowd was amazed. But yeah, anyways, I think this is one of the things. So, you've got the father of the atomic era dies 79, or I can't remember the exact line. You've got the MK Ultra angle. You've got sort of people doing bad things for good causes, or all of that. And I think, I don't know, it's very hard for me not to think about that idea, sort of this fear. I spent some time talking about the garrison mentality in Canadian literature and how that can be an interesting framing for watching stuff like Cube, but even watching something like or playing something like Outlast. But obviously, this does take place. There's an American element to this, right? There is the, there's this element at play about who's financing these experiments and why. Why would the government get involved in such a terrible thing? Because this is obviously inconsistent with the ideals that the United States holds itself to, both back in the Cold War and today, I think would be fair to say. And again, the answer would be, if you feel that, the Chinese are in possession of mind control, right, the sort of stuff that inspires the Manchurian Candidate, if you feel that, there's just a couple of governments being toppled away from, anarchy being unleashed on, well, maybe not anarchy, but communism being unleashed on the world, you're going to behave in a way, even if that's not necessarily true. Obviously, with the benefit of hindsight, we sort of know what a basket case some of these opponents were. But that is going to result in a certain type of behavior, and maybe a behavior that is different from what a more rational or a more informed calculation would be. So I don't know. For me, at least, I kind of like. I like how the game seems to be taking on some big and interesting ideas, and at the very least, the way that it's doing it, whether or not these are intended on the part of the game, I like that. I don't want to click start yet, just because I know the game will talk over me. Whether or not that was the intention, I guess at least for me, this stuff rings true enough with some of the other reading and some of the other things I find interesting that it feels at the very least compatible with those ideas. But on top of that, I also just think it's kind of an interesting, again, the Murkoff Corporation and all of the different characters with it and how it does relate to subsequent events that you see both in Outlast and Outlast 2, that Noth is one of the reagents inside of this, and that they're not just, throwing in random apocalyptic images in the Book of Noth, but that the spider-eyed lamb does actually mean something. It's revealed as the code phrase to activate the phrase to activate the reagents. To me, that is a neat little touch. It doesn't blow my mind in the sense that I understand the world that we live in a second Cold War even better or anything like that, but I like that it's thought through enough that there are neat little things to pick up on. And I like that I can go back and play the other two games with this sort of prequel in mind now and sort of see how the story all weaves together. And I like the fact that as they continue to do updates, which of course is what we're going to be playing on Wednesday and possibly Friday, I like the fact that there is, if you go back, your enjoyment of those earlier games is enhanced by the fact that there are these, these references. Or, I mean, I don't want to. Okay, I don't know what's in people's heads when they write things, right? I do have an idea in terms of how at least my professional writer friends have talked about things, and I have an idea in terms of, well, nobody asks me about the stories of the worlds that I make. I have an idea of how it works for me. And I think sometimes there is an idea that you sit down and you work out an entire universe on its own, end to end, and, that's how you world build. I think that is something you read a lot on Reddit, and I don't always know how much you hear that from people who write for a living. And it's probably different for different writers. So absent of knowledge of how these projects were incepted, I think it's fair to say that Outlast, as a game for a new independent studio funded with government program, Canadian Media Fund through Telefilm, probably not exclusively financed through it, but certainly received no small amount of funding through it. I'm not entirely sure their first priority is building this, Murkoff universe. I think maybe if Outlast, did okay, but wasn't like a smash success, I'm going to guess that the people at Red Barrels are probably not short of ideas. So far as I can tell, Outlast was not the first project they were considering doing. It's the first project we got to play. And so now, I think Outlast very rightly was quite a successful game, and it seems that, at least for now, they have been quite content to live in that universe. And I think that they have expanded that in a way that is really satisfying. But I do also think that they are talented enough creators that they are perfectly capable and probably fine with taking a universe that they made for one game and expanding it in the subsequent ones. And I just think that the way that they've expanded it is a really rewarding way that, again, enhances my enjoyment of the earlier games. All right, Cleanse the Orphans. 45-minute trial. Education establishes obedience, and faith makes it manifest. Teach the children, give them first communion, and make them ours. More and stronger enemies, more and deadly traps, limited intel, limited items, limited hide spots. And 750 experience, 8 stamps, and 10 rebirth tokens. So that's probably also going to be where we finish for tonight, but we'll see how it goes. My goal for tonight was to do a successful rebirth, so I guess the next goal... And we did it with Henrietta. I didn't think I was actually going to be able to pull that off.
Education and faith must follow our mandates. Children will learn obedience. Shape them young, and they're ours for life. Teach the children, give them first communion, and we will let you out.
Okay, so I've had a couple of unfortunate starts to these. So I already hear somebody arriving. So I could try jumping over the edge here, but the problem is I wouldn't see what I'm up against, so...
Why can't they just behave? They're not even alive.
Nope.
My little angels, let's all enjoy some angel dust, so we're ready to seize the day.
I want to see if he does anything. The reason why I destroyed that, the reason I destroyed that trap at the start is I'm probably gonna be running out of here pretty quickly. So being able to get rid of an obstacle I'm less likely to remember on my way out seemed like a good idea. Now, I thought I saw a bottle. In fact, I'm willing to say I probably did, but whether it's worth grabbing is another question. So the trick on this one is I want to see the lights.
Jesus had a
was on his team.
Okay, infants and boys.
Someday he would come back from the dead to reward the good people.
Not here. So two things I want to do here. One, I want to I'll settle for this. Okay. Actually, I can make my life a little easier. Couple of bits of bad luck there. So we'll give it a little bit of time just because I don't think I'm ready to take on both Mother Gooseberry and a pusher. Apparently I can't get enough of that enemy seeing me. So I still need to find one more propaganda poster. I'll also confess I did forget what the other... I did forget what the other room was. I think it was the girls' dorm? Doesn't hurt. Boys' dorm. Yoink! Wrong room. Damn. Okay. Big risk I'm taking here, but oh no. There is no way I'm gonna make... Yeah, you know what? We gotta get to the other side of the building. Like, this doesn't have to be full panic mode or anything, but I need to put some distance between me and the Jaeger before I can... Yeah, so this is the sort of place I go if I want to get eaten by the La Grande Femme. Oh no!
Daddy, have you ever heard such mind-numbing drivel? I'll rot total!
Never heard him ask for cocaine. Obviously, I want to get out of the... I want to get out of any room where I don't have an immediate exit, so...
Anybody else hear that?
So obviously he could potentially see me down the hall, but I don't know. I think Henrietta might be gone. I haven't run into a locked door yet, which makes me wonder if I've overestimated. So I've got an itch in my ear.
From 1 Corinthians.
I remember these.
Would anybody want to watch that? Like Dr. Daddy said, come to class, children. We'll watch
Ray, fucker.
Baby, take a whiff on me.
Cocaine habit, lightly sweet. Pulls you out of bed, get you on your feet.
Hey, little baby,
Come take a whiff on me. Take a look down.
Make that pretty.
I never quite know how the detection works, because definitely a couple of times I've been in a situation like this. They walk by me and they notice me in the dark. Seem to be okay. I'm gonna have to run around the corner here though.
Let the skinner man. Straight down. I'm okay.
Probably should have had my night vision on anyway.
Doctors are watching.
take a whiff on me.
They tell you to take, take cause you right. Cocaine will get you out there, fucking and fighting.
Hey, baby, take a whiff on me.
Cocaine habit, lightly.
Guardian here. Your obedience pure.
So I don't know which of the two classrooms in 3 and 4 I need to put it in yet, but... Alright, I was kind of hoping I would find evidence. Oh, but I got it here. I think that's another weekly. So yes, obviously I should be focused on my trying to get an A+, but
Protect the children. Nothing else matters.
I'm going to confess I'm actually quite surprised at the lack of throwables in the level. I'm probably going to need to update my expectations on that. God damn it. Least favorite enemy in the game. The big problem I have with the big problem I have with the way that the prescription that they give you to help with that enemy, or the pouncer. Ooh. It's not where I want to be. So, okay, well at least it's class 4. So like one of the options I have to get rid of that pouncer damn it. Too much time worrying about the pouncer, not enough time worrying about what? Lies and flim-flam. Might be because that was the only hiding place in the room. I should definitely find out what happened there. Of course. Okay, I was pretty lucky. If he turns around, I'm gonna regret this, but... Alright, big guy coming nearby. Okay, let's get ready to run. What was I going to say? Yeah, so there's a solution to the pouncers. In the sense that if you want, you can like throw a throwable and it'll cause them to vacate. But the thing is like, okay, well, like beyond maybe saving a little bit of time for the pouncing animation, you're still down like the throwable.
Of course it hurts. Just means it's working. What the hell? Thousand hands, 1,000 eyes.
Ah, damn it, like that. And of course now, I don't have anything to throw. One bottle's not much to work with, but I'm hoping the next part will give me a little bit more to work with. I'm not opposed to doing 2 and 2. I'll keep that as an option. Hey, blasphemers!
I'm trying to leave.
Okay, bunny and heart. Hello. There's one button. And apparently I'm too dumb to find the other one. And there is a patrol on the way. Okay, I see it. Gonna do my best here. Oh crap. Run! Worth it. Ooh. That's no good. So yeah, obviously I made a bad call. I mean, I actually made the call that I said I wasn't going to do at the start, which was I'm not going to jump over the over a blind wall because I might run into an enemy. Anyway. Sure. So, we see the whatever, night vision guy. I can't remember the name for it. Alright, that's inconvenient. Oh, but they're going in a different direction, so. So I already know this isn't it because of the... Really? Because of the guilty knowledge from the X-ray. I'm trying to think of an intelligent way. Okay. Well, I found the bunny, but... I thought that was the Molotov for a second. I was a little nervous. So I definitely heard something moving. Yep. Unkind, unwelcome. Wow, that is so much damage. So I know the target, but I am in danger of... So I mean, already this is not the sort of performance you want to turn in. Oh, you know what? That was dumb of me. I had plenty of healing in the... I had plenty of healing in the secret room. That was careless of me. So I'll use one of the double... I mean, the fact that I've got a place that I can orient around for healing, I don't think is a bad thing, so... I'll just use one and see if I can find something in the main level. They are never gonna let me any... Oh, for God's sake. That's all I have to do. Don't swap, use. Oh, unless I've got full health. Of course. I was just waiting to hear the awooga of the Jaeger. So at this point, I'll just wait for the heartbeat to stop, and then I can go get the bunny. Excuse me. Sorry. So I don't think I need to go... I don't think I need to fully go back to the chapel. The main reason for me to... okay, you know what? I am done messing around with that particular enemy. I am going to take the long way around. Really? I see the fuel. Looks like a generator there. But of course, the real question is... Oh. And we've got a friend. Depending on his back.
Fucking magic, man. What do I think of next? That's fucking thing.
So I do have the option of sort of kiting him with a few well-placed bottles, but I think arousing his suspicions at a time where I really just need him to walk away from the area I need. I mean, theoretically that's even closer. Oh, he's peeking.
Boy, I suddenly know if I had these in the war.
Yeah.
See everything. Everything. What's going on?
So it's fine, like, that's a little more annoying, but... Right, there isn't anything in here for me. He's definitely gonna come after me. Alright, I deserved that. I don't think I want to hide, just in case he can... He's definitely nearby. I don't know if he's gonna... Not a bad idea for me to just make a little space.
Breathe, the machine.
He's heading the wrong way. I'm just gonna wait for you pick them up as part of the level, Rouge Lake Girl. Also welcome. So I have an ability that gives me an extra inventory slot. And part of the game is about, like, so there's all sorts of things. If you'll see sort of the white outlines when I activate my X-ray vision next. But in this case, the general idea is that you will take, okay, like here. General idea is that you will take bricks if you want to silently take out an obstacle, like the mine over there, for instance. Okay. Or you get two uses. You also get two uses of them. Whereas if you want to make noise, throwing a bottle will allow you to direct attention in a different area. All right, let's go for it. Oop. Run for your lives, my friend. Oh, crap. All right, we made it. But yeah, so in this case, I'm opting for the bricks just so I have the option to throw stuff at people who are threatening me. You know what? That's not a good idea because I'm probably going to be running from Mother Gooseberry in a little bit. All right. Sorry there. run for it.
Evacuate the trial.
Whoa! Okay, should have had an adrenaline plan. I don't have any hiding spots, sadly. Alright, another big one. Yep. Oh, she's there. You're kidding me. I'm trapped. Fuck! I'm gonna die if I don't stop this. I think it's over. I'm pretty mad about that, actually. So, I think that would have been an A+ except for that death, but... Oh, wow. That's interesting. Extraordinary reagent performance. We may need to increase trauma to provide sufficiently challenging therapy. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess there were 2 exits to that particular room, but I'm kind of accustomed to people being staggered back, like when you get a headshot. So maybe I didn't have a headshot or that, but... In this case, we got the grade that we needed, so I'll take it and stop whining. But I'm actually a little concerned that I think all of the intensive missions that I've done, I've wound up dying, so I need to get better at that.
Perfect. Beautiful. You are the hope for a better tomorrow.
All right, we get to do my favorite part at the end of the stream. So I think also, given the way the intensives have gone, I'm going to be a little reluctant to do another Rebirth until the last possible moment. All right, tasks. So turn in our dailies. We don't have all the weeklies, but obviously I haven't had a problem turning those in too. So at some point I will do the 3 trials and an escalation therapy run. Nothing's stopping me from doing that, you know, right now, but I've got 5 days. If I can get a relapse, that would be even better. Finally, we have the Project Relapse catalog. So almost done the full page. Now we're done the full page. Buy what we can. All right, I am not going to complain about 2 pages worth of catalog. I will actually say, so knowing that the new update comes tomorrow, I was maybe expecting to be able to finish the Season 2 catalog. I was definitely not expecting to be 2 pages deep on Project Relapse. Now, if I recall correctly, the way that the advancement works, I think we'd probably see this... Oh, new newspaper, by the way. So this is the first one that we got, and then this is the one that we got today. So 16 Rebirth seems like quite a bit, but we'll get through it. So I'll confess, I don't know if there's any way for me to see the Geister tokens, which these are, but so far as I can tell, tomorrow with the new update, so there's a few things to look forward to there. I don't know if I have a way of bringing up the news in game though. Actually, I can probably find it in Discord. Let me just take a minute on that. I should be clear, I do intend to play this, I do actually intend to play this update, not tomorrow, but on Wednesday. So, Outlast news. Project Messiah, meet Lilia Bogomolova, update coming December 9th. Project Messiah. Greetings, reagents. If God is love, then bloodshed is his only currency. Such is the testament of our newest prime asset, Lilia Bogomolova, a praying mantis who is otherwise known as Sister Lilia. A perfect picture of cryptic beauty, a vengeful angel sent from the heavens themselves. Lilia is a woman of God on a divine mission to cut away your sins. Adorned in an intricate mask that obscures her scarred visage, Sister Lilia offers salvation to those willing to pay the price in treasure and flesh. Reagents will soon have the opportunity to visit Lilia's hallowed cottage ornée in the resort, a gaudy alpine retreat and the newest trial environment. The Season 5 Project Messiah update will go live Tuesday, December 9th at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, and it will also feature 2 new MK challenges, Winter Kills limited time event with a twist, as well as improvements to the recently introduced Invasion game mode, to which more details will be relayed in the patch notes of the day on the day of the update. New prime asset, Lilia Bogomolova. Sister Lilia is a holy huntress, an ambush predator capable of surprise attacks with her long-reaching combat style. Within her cultish compound, she hides in plain sight amongst her mannequins, and her savage strikes can immobilize unsuspecting reagents, forcing them into a fight for their lives. Behind the closed doors of the lavish resort, she's prepared a VIP auction held only for her bigger spenders. But what is the price of a life? New trial. To spoil the auction. You are the negotiator. Humans are just one more product, amusement for those with money to burn. A fresh plaything is up for auction. It's up to you to ruin the lot. New Deluxe Catalog, Project Messiah. The new Deluxe Catalog, Project Messiah, will be available. The catalog is filled with 10 pages of new exclusive cosmetic items. Unlock the Deluxe Catalog using Murkoff coins, other Deluxe Catalogs, or purchasable in the Murkoff store. That parses a little weirdly, but I kind of know how it works. If you've not read these and you're into the Outlast series, I definitely recommend the comics, both the Murkoff account, which will bridge the story of Outlast 1 and Outlast 2. In fact, I'd argue that the ending is a bit strange if you have not read the Murkoff account. But the Outlast Trials gives you... the Outlast Trials, the Murkoff collections, those will give you some background, mostly on the prime assets, but there's also a bit of the story of what's happening in the Signala facility where we are. New Murkoff Collections Comic Book Chapter 7. Take a dive into Lilia's origins and learn how she had the unfortunate pleasure of ending up as Murkoff's very own Viper in our newest Murkoff Collections comic book. Read this issue, as well as the other Murkoff collections, for free on our website. I will actually send that along here. I will actually also mention that I believe Lilia is the first... I believe it is the first prime asset to come from Mount Massive, the location of the original Outlast. New MK Challenge, Fabricate the scandal. You are the half-truth, the reality more honest than fact when the evidence fails the agenda. Crimes cannot simply exposed. They must be shaped to entertain the swinish masses. Prove the crime and delight the swine. And new MK challenge sees the narcotics. You are the controlled substance. The law enslaves minds by caging bodies. You destroy bodies and liberate minds, making users more desperate for control. Find the narcotics and set yourself free. So this makes me wonder if currently Despoil the Auction, the trial, is the only thing in the resort. Because it looks like the two new MK challenges are in, I think this is the mall, and I would not be surprised if this is the police station. Winter Kills limited time event and more. Winter Kills is an experiment in hostile, unbearable environments rich in both punishment and rewards. With the addition of permafrost, Murkov will have hot cocoa on standby in the sleep room, figuratively speaking. Winter Kills will take place from December 9th, 2025 at 10 a.m. Eastern to January 6, 2026 at 9:59 Eastern Time. Program Winter Kills variators, permafrost, permanent freezing temperature in the trial. Locate heat sources to stay warm. Frost mines. Gas mines have been replaced with frost mines. Collect the gifts. Collect all the gifts in the trial to earn extra rewards. Other notable additions. Invasion game mode menu UI revamped to focus quick play and the new Invasion seasonal ranking system. Quick play is an alternance of playing as reagent and imposter as much as possible. Pivoting imposter objective to hurt the reagents instead of focusing on eliminating them. Various Invasion game mode improvements and fixes, more details to come in full patch notes at launch. Imposter rebalancing to allow imposter actions now consume less stamina, and their base speed has been adjusted to more closely match reagents. More details to come in full patch notes at launch. Reagents rebalancing to make reagent attacks drain less stamina from imposters to even the playing field based on player data. This is paced, but I think it's based. More details on these 3 points to come in full patch notes at launch. Twitch drops special event, which is one of the reasons I will be streaming on Wednesday. Check out our FAQ to learn how to link your game to Twitch and earn exclusive rewards by watching any content creators play the Outlast Trials on Twitch. Gather your flock, reagents, and we will catch you in the sleep room very soon. The Red Barrels team. So, we could probably zoom in a little bit. So, 30 minutes, get a purple gooseberry player icon. 1 hour, you get a purple prototype ESOP. 2 hours, Murkoff Newsboy cap. 3 hours, black and purple striped wallpaper. 4 hours, amethyst joggers. 5 hours, tapestry of the Messiah poster. 6 hours, Franco Fanatic jacket. So I would say between Wednesday and Friday, I will probably stream long enough for people to collect all of their items, although I do realize that people are not necessarily going to be watching from the very start. But that is what we have to look forward to, and that is what one of the reasons why I'm going to be playing Outlast Trials on Wednesday. It's also one of the reasons why I'm very unlikely to do the escalation therapy on Wednesday, but, maybe. I usually like to reserve escalation therapy for when I do the relapse. So, anyway, that's all I've got. Oh, let's clear out the markers. I'm kind of glad that they got rid of them on the bed and such, but I don't know. I'm sure I'll redesign my room at some point, but and what fancy costumes did I get? So I wore this long enough. I think if I could, probably this is the This is the costume I'd be most likely to wear for now. Oops. There you go. All right. Again, as promised, I'm going to finish for tonight. I already went a bit later than I was planning. But let's see who we can host for tonight. And by the way, thank you everybody for hanging out. I do not know. I remember that I was concerned about some of the dropped frames. I am trying with my new ISP and also streaming with my VPN on. So if there were any problems with the visual quality, please do let me know, just so I can correct that for the future streams. But for the most part, like what I'm seeing here in terms of dropped frames, it's like 0.2% out of the entire broadcast. So like 1,306 sounds like a whole lot until you reflect on the fact that I've almost been streaming 4 hours. Now, I don't have too many people online for tonight, so Kilgore Trout is currently streaming Cybermage. He is a classic game streamer. He's on the GOG stream team. He tends to play a lot of old school games on original hardware, so he's usually a safe choice at the end of the evening. If any of you have any Outlast Trials favorite streamers, I'd be happy to know. I mean, if nothing else, I'll be watching so that I can get some of the goodies. But in this case, I do want to at least send you off to a location that may be of interest. And yes, hopefully I will see you on Wednesday while we explore the new event. Until then, take care. Thanks for watching.
i.e., there are no cheats. Yeah, the tilt key doesn't work. System Shock doesn't work. Oh, well, hello, System Shock. Look, he just raided the channel.